this is Steve from BC Barker Creations, and this is going to be a response to a message I received from watchthis1772. So I'm going to give him a shout out because he's got a couple of cool videos on bearded dragons, leopard geckos, ranking dragons, and crested geckos. So check him out. He's only got a few videos, but check him out. That's watchthis1772. So he wants to get some ball pythons, and he asked me to let him know how to heat two tubs side by side sitting on his desk. And so the only thing I'm a little concerned about is keeping them in there. So he says he's going to use tubs that have latches that come over the top and latch it. But if you guys have any any input on anything on this video, please leave it in the comment below so that he can check out your comments and any advice. So what I came up with was you got a few options for heating two tubs side by side. I went to just two different websites. I went to LLLReptile.com and Reptile Basics. And LLLReptile has a whole bunch of options available. You've got the Zoom Ed heat pads, and they're in all different sizes. They range from $12.99 to $24.99. Then you have Exoterra heat pads that are similar to these. They run $12.99 to $23.99, and these usually run about like 20 degrees or so above room temperature. So if your room's at 70 degrees, it's going to be, this is going to sit somewhere around 90, which is good for a ball python. That'll be fine. Then you've got Flukers has a heat pad too that's not adhesive. These pads have an adhesive side to them. They're not, the Flukers ones don't have the adhesive side. But you'll need a thermostat for the Flukers. Alright, then we've got Reptile Basics, which you can go with FlexWatt. This is FlexWatt. And there's different sizes. It ranges from 3-inch up to 11-inch. This is the 11-inch FlexWatt. And you can get it in different lengths. And the prices on that range from $210 a foot to $340 per foot. So you just got to figure out what size you need. But the best option that I found to heat tubs side by side like this would be through Reptile Basics, and that's the Ultratherm under tank heater. And according to them, I've never used them, so I'm not sure, but I've gone with Reptile Basics a lot, and everything that they have on their website that I've bought has been accurate. So, but according to them, the Ultratherm under tank heater heats to temperatures only to about 95 degrees. So for ball pythons, that would be fine. That's the highest the mat's supposed to get is 95 degrees. And you don't need a thermostat for that mat. So the other thing I want to say is I recommend getting a temp gun. Before, just so that you can check your temperatures before you put your animals in the tubs. So now I'm just going to take these tops off and tell you how you're going to set up the tub basically. And I'm only using these little 6-quart tubs just for a demonstration. I don't know what size he plans on using or anything, but if you were to use one of these, you wouldn't need a thermostat. And I know it's got the sticky stuff on it. If you wanted, you could probably take either a piece of sheet metal or like stainless steel and stick this to it, and then you'd be able to set your tubs right on there like that. And it depends on the size of the tub. You're going to need a bigger mat. Now if you wanted, you could get 2 of these mats and run one under each tub depending on the size of the tub. Now when you're doing that, you only want to cover 1/3 of the tub. So you want to pretend that you split this into 3 parts, and you want to cover only 1/3 of the tub is heated. That way they can move from here off the heat down here to where it's cooler. And that's where your temp gun comes in. So that when you have your heat mat sitting under here, and I'm just using this for an example, then you can shoot your temp gun here to find out what temperature it is. And then you know if it's too hot, then you've got issues and you need to run a thermostat probably on it. And then you also want to know what the temperature down here is, because you want them to be able to move to a cooler area in the tub. So, and my tubs usually run about, on the cool end, 75 to 80 on the cool end. And then up here, mine usually sit at about 92. So you want to be able to do that, and heating this will heat this side too. Having the heat pad on this side will bring the temperature up on this side a little bit. So if your room's not that warm, you don't really have to worry about it, because it's going to bring this temperature up a little bit. But if your room's really warm, then it may be too hot, depending on the size of the tub. So then your other option is you got the flex watt, and that would be the same thing. You would need a thermostat for this though, but you would just have the two tubs sitting on top, and only about a third of the tub would be covered with the flex watt. So that, and you could get the 3 or 4 inch flex watt and just go across the back of the tub. What else? I'm trying to think. I already said, like I said, you really need a temp gun to know what your temperatures are. But I think that's it. And like I said, I think the Ultratherm under tank heater is your best option. The prices for those range from $14.99 to $29.99. And like I said, you have to figure out what size tubs you're going to run. You're obviously, if you're going to have ball pythons, you're probably going to have bigger tubs than this, unless they're hatchlings, but they're not going to stay in this forever. So if you're running, say they're both males, and they're in a, I don't know, 18 by 28 size tub, you know, it'd be like almost 4 of these or whatever, then you're going to want a mat that's going to go probably 6 or 8 inches wide across the back. Then you're going to need it to go across the other, so you're going to have to figure out, get your two tubs, measure across how far, and it doesn't have to go all the way. You can just have it, you know, across, most of the way across both of them, and just figure out how much space you need to cover. Depends on the size of your tubs, but I hope that helps. Please, anybody watching, leave a comment below to help them out. That's watchthis1772. Just leave a comment for him if you have any better advice. Leave that down below, or make a video yourself. But I hope that helps out. I'm going to put a link to LLLReptiles and Reptile Basics in the description below, so that you can find that easily. And I'll put a link directly to what I feel he should use. And the Ultratherm under tank heater I like, because I've never used it, but you don't need a thermostat for it, according to Reptile Basics. So I'm going to put a link directly to that, and they're not a bad price. You just got to figure out what size tubs you're going to use, and then get what you need. But I hope that helps you out. If not, send me another message, leave me a comment, whatever you need to do, and I'll try again. Thanks for watching.